Today's question comes from Jane, and Jane is asking, she says, why is it hard to secure admission into Nigerian universities? You see, in other African countries like Ghana, Benin Republic and others, now, you don't need JAMB to be qualified for admission. And you see, in other countries like that, just ask you for your O-level results and you'll be qualified for admission. But here in Nigeria, you see, after you write your JAMB, it doesn't stop there. You still have to write post-UTME, and the school will now decide whether or not you've wasted your time for that year. So that's how it happens. But in Nigeria, things are always like that. Admission has to be very complicated. Now, I'm going to tell you why and how you can make it simple for you. So I'm going to give you a few reasons why admission is kind of complicated in Nigeria and how you can actually go about making it easier for you to secure admission into your desired university in Nigeria. So the first thing I want you to know is this: approximately 2 million candidates will be vying for admission, and you are one of those students. And you see, they only need approximately 500,000 students out of that 2 million candidates. And if you do the math, that's 25% of the 2 million candidates that are going to be applying for admission. You see, it's a lot of number, and the space that are available for admission is quite limited. So that's one of the reasons why admission is kind of difficult in Nigeria. And for that reasons, schools decided to up their admission grades, the qualifications that is required for you to secure admission into different universities in Nigeria. And that's the second reason why it became a kind of a tough task to secure admission into Nigerian universities. And you see, that's where the issue of writing JAMB now comes in, and where you have to sit for post-UTME, which the school uses to checkmate candidates, and they admit those they think are most qualified. So if you fail for that section, you fail to pass the requirements intended for admission, which comes from JAMB and post-UTME, then you're automatically telling them that you're not ready for that particular year. So they admit other candidates, and you have to wait for the next year before you can secure admission into any Nigerian university. Now, the third reason being that some universities in Nigeria are not tribalistic and tribalistic. You understand what I mean? You know, if you're an Igbo and you want to study in the north, it's almost impossible. You know, that's why there's a buzz about catchment area. That's how admission just works in Nigerian universities, and you need to understand the system. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to find your way into the school of your choice. Now, I graduated from the University of Benin, and I can tell you that admission has been sanitized in a way that if anybody tells you to drop money or connection, then they are just lying. It's just a simple lie. Schools these days are kind of hell. You know, for all of you applying for Unilag, Uniport, Unilorry, and OAU and others, you know, you will come to understand the meaning of tribalism and tribalism. It's a very funny term. Tribalism and tribalism. You need to get acquainted to these terms. Otherwise, you will be left behind. If you want to kind of prove that, okay, this is not the way the system works for you, you'll be left behind. You have to be acquainted to the way it works generally. So I'm going to give you my expert advice right now on how you can go about the difficulty in admission in Nigeria. So number one is this. Now, if you're here to apply for admission, good. Apply to a school of your choice. And if you're not an indigene of that particular institution, hold your money tight. You hear what I said? Hold your money tight. Now let's start telling ourselves the truth. We already know how the system is. So let's not try to paint it the way it is not. I repeat, if you're not an indigene of the school you're applying to, hold your money tight. You see, connection is not a requirement for admission, but if you know you're not an indigene and you want a professional course, just hold your money for connection tight and choose a course that you can qualify for. I'm telling you this based on experience. We have been dealing with various candidates for years and various institutions, and this is a system. So don't try to get behind the system. Try to be in the system. Because this is the stress that some of us went through before we finally got in, and we are giving you expert advice. Now, secondly, after buying your JAMB form, prepare as if you're writing an exam that your life depends on. After purchasing your JAMB form, prepare as if this examination you're about to write, your life depends on it, and you're going to thank me later. Tell yourself, this exam, I must make it. And you're going to aim for 300 and above, because that's the only way you can be able to beat the competition. Remember, that's the only reason why admission is tough, because of the population, and that brings about competition. So while you are adjusting your JAMB, make sure you juggle your O-level alongside. Now, if you want the professional course like medicine, engineering, chemistry, law, computer science, most of engineering courses and all, forget 2 sittings O-level results. Just forget it. Sit for WAEC and make it in 1 sitting. But if you think you don't have time, probably you don't have the 1 sitting O-level results, then you might want to settle for minor courses. Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of competition, and they are going to go for those that have the best qualification. So you just need to get acquainted to the system. This is how it is. But if you want the professional courses, then by all means, just do your O-level result and make sure you have it in just 1 sitting. Now, the next thing you should know is this: if your school is going to write post-UTME, you have to prepare for it too. Prepare for it too, as if your life depends on it. Because if you pass, then you have been able to cross all the bridges, all the hurdles on the way for your admission. That's how it works here in Nigeria, and that's the only way you can be able to surpass all the stresses that you're going to go through when securing admission into universities in Nigeria. Now, after those process, like I told you in the beginning of this clip, look for someone that you know have trusted connections in the university that you are applying to. Pay your dues, and that's it. You've played your part, so all you have to do is wait for admission. Meet someone reliable in the institution that you're applying to for connections, especially if you're not an indigene. If you're an indigene, you have an upper hand, you have at least something to still give you an edge for admission. But if you don't, then it will be wise for you to don't just take the risk. Yeah, don't just take the risk of saying, okay, with that connection you're going to be admitted. You understand? There are a lot of people that are vying for the same space that you are vying for, and professional courses are very tough, especially if you don't have that of a high grade in JAMB and the post-UTME, if your school is writing post-UTME. But if they are not, then you should be putting all the balance in your O-level results. Like I told you, having 1 sitting O-level result is going to give you a benefit. But if you don't, then you have to settle for minor courses, and still you're going to be getting your admission. And that's the most important thing. If you don't want to remain at home for years and years and years waiting for admission, because a lot of students have ended up frustrated. For that reason, they choose to go to polytechnics and choose other options, college of education and the rest, because university admission of a thing is becoming so tough and like all of a hell for them. The whole stress and headache, the panics and all. So you have to understand this system of admission. Now, if you failed either JAMB or post-UTME exam for the school that you are applying for one reason or the other, they don't admit you, then you don't have to panic. There's still a way out of it. Just take yourself, go and buy the pre-degree form for the school that you are applying to. It runs in 1 section. And if you apply for the pre-degree for your school that you're applying to, you also have a more secure chance of admission once you meet the requirement that they have. You know why? The school needs the money more than you do. So if you apply for pre-degree, you are sure that when you meet the requirement, they are going to admit you. But if you want to make up for the lost year, maybe you apply for a particular year, you don't gain admission, you want to make up for that lost year, then you can choose to go for A-level, direct entry, apply for 200 level admission, and they're going to admit you to 200 level of your choice. Now, these few tips and these few details I've just given you, if you go through them and think them through, you will discover that this is just how the system works in Nigeria, and the tips that I've shared with you are going to help you in securing admission to your school of choice. In the next few days or weeks, we're going to be giving more details, so make sure you stick to this channel and this show, because we're going to be giving you a lot of details about admission from expert advice, and we're going to be bringing people here, students of universities, graduates, alumni and all from different universities in Nigeria, to give you tips on how you can at least handle a lot of stresses that students go through. So make sure you come here for the next video, and if you want more videos, make sure you submit your email address on the form below this video, and when we have new videos, you're going to be notified. And make sure you like, if you have a comment, don't miss my next show. See you in the next episode. This is details, where we give you in details of everything in Nigerian universities.